It's the beginning of the show. If you don't have a hat on, put a hat on, cause it's gonna get blown off, cause it's Wednesday. Yeah. Internet. What's up, Internet? What's going on? Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. How you doing? How you doing? It's super hot here. It's superior hot here in lovely Western Washington. Lovely Western Washington. I was looking at the thermometer off the way, and boy howdy, it said it was like 90 or something. I don't know. I don't know how to read those wildly high up numbers. They don't make a lot of sense to me. And sorry if you hear some ruckus in the background. I hooked up the AC unit back here, and I tried to quiet it as much as possible. And but it's kind of noisy. So apologies for that, but that's what happens when it's super hot out. I got to have an AC in here because it's just too hot. And as we talked about on the Real Fish Talk show yesterday, this won't go on forever. We will have insulation being added very, very soon, you guys. But it being 90 out and sweltery, it's definitely next level kind of hot right now. So that's just a life, you know. But yeah, that's what's going on with the weather out here. It's Wednesday, which means Wednesday is typically it's typically a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maintenance day on the aquariums, which means I'll normally kind of move plants around, move rocks around, do that kind of stuff. So that's what we'll be doing on the show today. That's the main topic for the show today. So put your seats in an upright position, aka move them 1.5 inches forward, right? Then put your tray tables in an upright position, right? Then you're supposed to stow your laptop somewhere. You got to put your laptop somewhere. And then you have to turn off your phone or something. Then the real important part, put on the lap belt. Put on the lap belt that was designed, I don't know, in the 1800s, which was deemed not even sufficient enough to handle a 60-mile-an-hour car crash, let alone a, what is it, 737, 195-mile-an-hour takeoff speed, I think. Let's check this out. Let's check this out real quick. 737 takeoff speed. Let's see. Oh, well, look at that. Look at that, fancy guys. A Boeing 737 only needs to be at 150 miles an hour. 757 at 160. Let's see. Ooh, we got a bunch here. Oh, there's so many. So, oh, we're missing a bunch of the good planes. Let's get to the good planes. Oh, come on now. That's not much of a list there, Internet. What are you doing? Airspace Web, Ask Airliner, takeoff speed. That one's not. That's the same one. 747 is 184. Bigger the plane. But the one that I'm interested in is the 777. That's what I want to know about. Let's see, 7. We gotta change this, guys. You guys, we're learning today on the show. We're learning a lot. Where it was super easier. Let's see. What speed do I take off? 150 knots, 180 knots, straight away, 170. Huh. This is a weird website. I'm going to save this website for later because that's a weird one. 777 is a family wide range. Why can't we find this? Why is this not? All right, I got to turn this off. All right, I can't stand that background noise, you guys. Makes it sound like we were on an airplane, and I managed to quiet it, but then it started rattling again, and I just can't take it. I can't take that AC running in the background. It'll just get hot in here, and I'll just douse myself in cold water. Well, why was it super easy to look up the 737, but the 777 is like impossible to look up? Well, yeah, it was saying here the takeoff speed. Oh, that gateway's no good. Well, look at the internet just being super helpful right now. Oh, this is only... Okay, so up to 190 miles an hour. Okay. I think we'll just stay with that. We'll just say the 777 is 180, right? So, anyhow, we got onto that tangent because I was talking about the lap belts, which aren't even good enough for a 60-mile-an-hour car crash. But let's say a 150-mile-an-hour airplane crash, and we'll all just have a laugh. That those lap belts are kind of goofy. I think it's funny. I remember somebody was saying that... I remember somebody was telling me that at one point in time that the lap belts are just for identifying the bodies, which is scary. Okay, so you guys said you couldn't hear the AC, so maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll try it again. Joel Gillett was a failed pilot. I never tried out to be a pilot, you know, but that's the thing. I never even wanted to do that. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun jam, but I never thought like, wow, I got to be a pilot. I never thought that. It was definitely not something that was coming up. Ooh. Hot tip from today, starting to plan out the birthing classes, you guys. We're getting scheduled for the birthing classes. I'm going to learn with my monocle. I can't do it behind my glasses. Can't do it in front of my glasses. Hold on. My learning monocle, right? I'm going to be learning some birthing stuff. So that'll be coming up. Going to be super awesome. Everybody says they couldn't tell that the AC was on, so I guess I'll turn it back on. It was just rattling around in the background here, but if you guys can't tell that it was there, I'm going to reactivate it, and it'll take a minute here. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing now. I pushed a button. And, you know, so that's the life of it. But today we're going to do a little bit differently on the show here. We're actually going to go into the video segment pretty early because I want to get into that. I want to talk about that, and then we'll talk about other stuff later on, which is probably going to irritate some people because they're probably going to show up late, and then they're going to be like, I missed the video portion. And you're going to be like, yeah, that's because you got to turn your notifications on, and you got to do all of that whatever internet stuff you have to do. I hate talking about that stuff, so let's get it out of the way real quick. If you haven't been to the Patreon, go check out the Patreon. We are currently at a metric of 308 patronizers, making this whole thing possible. All this stuff would not be possible without you guys, and express my gratitude is becoming weirder and weirder, but I want to say a big thank you to everybody out there on the Patreon. If this is the kind of stuff that you guys like, I highly encourage you to pop over to the Patreon. It's the easiest way to support more shows, trying to get some more interviews, more content, that kind of stuff. That's what it's all about. you know, as just speaking on a note here, you guys. As you know, we had the hit and run vehicle accident. Had to deal with the insurance guys and all that kind of stuff. Here's the deal. I just want to express some of my personal situation here. Really, really, really need a macro lens. This lens is awesome. I love using it. It's not a great macro lens. As you guys know, I've been saving and saving and saving to get a macro lens, and I feel like I have enough money now to get a macro lens, but there's one problem. There's one problem. I have to make what I would consider to be the frugal and intelligent decision and stick with the lenses I got for the time being. And do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? We'll be on hiatus next week. We'll be on hiatus out there in the wild, going crazy, filming like nuts. So next Saturday, we're going to be hitting the road to drive down to Las Vegas, Nevada, whereas I know some people have heard about this. We're Corey, Jimmy, myself, we're going to be driving down to Las Vegas, Nevada, right? Why are we going to Las Vegas, Nevada? Well, there's a convention called Super Zoo down there, which is going to be, there's a bunch of fish stuff, but there's a bunch of other animal things that go on there. What's this thing doing? Oh, we're going to go back to just the cooling power. All right, there we go. There is a bunch of aquatic stuff. We are definitely... Man, I've been hammering the emails and the messages and all that kind of stuff to make sure that we're going to meet up with all of the right people while we're down at Super Zoo, which I'm super excited for. It's going to be a long drive. I think it's, altogether, I think it's like 18 hours of driving to get to Super Zoo. Now, that means that's going to be a couple days. It's going to be a couple days of driving through the desert, doing all that kind of stuff, staying up late to get there on Monday because it starts on Monday. And then, so we'll be there for Monday and Tuesday of it. Then we're heading out. We're heading out from there to go off to do more filming. We're going to do more filming. We're going to do whatever filming we can at Super Zoo. Who knows? No guarantees. I'm guessing it'll be a lot like Interzoo because they're Super Zoo, Interzoo. It's not a coincidence that they're named that. So it being a trade show, they're definitely not necessarily set up for a ton of filming or people like, blowing the doors off their surprises. You know what I mean? So we're gonna try to go from Vegas. We're gonna try and stop by the outskirts of like Los Angeles, as One Man Aquariums was saying. Stop by in Los Angeles. As you guys know, the kind of debacle of trying to get in and out of Los Angeles is kind of crazy. So we're trying to figure out exactly what we can do in Vegas, when we can get there, when we're going to go there, and all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of up in the air. So I would say, well, now I've got Jimmy messaging me, and I forgot to turn the sound off. Jimmy, what are you doing? We're live on the internet right now. I got to turn the sound off. Oh, you guys wonder what it is I'm clicking over there. When I'm turning things off, I'm turning the sound off. I'm making sure that the feed is correct and all that stuff. And I forgot to do that part. Turn the sound off. Yeah, there's something rattling on that AC unit. This is an old AC unit. I found it. It was free. But it works better than nothing. So just kind of make a little bit of a racket. But I have to listen to heavy metal, you know what I mean, to drown it out. But either way, it's not super hot in the office like it normally is. I got so many computers and everything running in here, it does have a tendency to get hot. But anyhow, back to the story of the road trip. So we're going on to the road trip. One of the big reasons for that, we're going to stop by every breeder that we can. We're going to stop by every you know, any of the big names that we can. We're going to try and do some meetups. If you follow us, if you follow like Corey on Twitter, that would be a good spot. Like Corey on Twitter, he'll be blasting out on Twitter if we're stopping somewhere or not. What are you doing? I gotta hit this thing, sorry. We'll be, you know, following Corey on Twitter, or maybe following me on Facebook or something like that. Might be a great place to stay in contact if people want to try to meet up and stuff. And then we'll be heading up north. There's more fish rooms and stuff up north. I'm guessing near the Sacramento area, something like that. We're going to be stopping by 3 or 4 breeders and stuff like that up there. So we're going to be rambling past that. Then we're also making some stops in Oregon and southern Washington. What is the deal? This thing just like slowly, it works its way into rattling. Sorry guys, and it drives me nuts. You guys said you couldn't even hear it, but but I can. I can hear it rattling around back there on the old floor. I had it on the carpet and it was rattling, and now it's not on the carpet. It'll stop rattling, then it slowly starts getting worse. Oh, it's this part. Ooh, it's the part down in the front. Maybe I'll add some tape to it or something. I got some of that super squishy, weird sound deadening tape. I'll throw that on there after the show. But we'll be heading up north, so it's going to be a total trip of about, I think we're going to drive about, let's see. So that's 1,100. That's 1,100 miles to Vegas. So then coming back is longer. It's going to be about 2,500 to 2,800 miles. I think we're going to drive. So Corey's going to have to. He's going to have to change his oil after we get back. Candy says she can't hear it, just me banging it. What is that? I'm going to bring it closer to me. If it's going to make all this noise, I'm going to have it blow directly on me. What? What? I don't know. It's making a rattling noise, but you guys say you can't hear it. It's just driving me nuts. But it's fun to hit it. Hold on. I think I know what's wrong here. Yep. I need a different screwdriver. Hold on. This is how good my show is, you guys. The show's super entertaining and exciting. Me yelling at a air conditioning unit. I don't know. That's as tight as it would go. You think it's going to still do it? I think it's still going to make the noise. But, alright. Sorry. I'll stop beating the air conditioning unit. It's pretty fun to hit it, though. But we're going to be in a car quite a bit. We're going to be traveling around a lot. And the whole reason that we're going to do this is to bring back content to you guys. I get that there are a lot of people out there that are like, man, it's like you guys are taking a vacation. Bear in mind, this is like work. You know, we're going to be driving 10, 12 hours a day so that we can get to places. Then we can shoot. So once we shoot the videos and stuff like that, we're still not even done because we have to drive all the way back, and then we have to edit it, get it up to you guys and stuff like that. So it is a fair bit of work, but I'm excited to do it. If it wasn't for the patronizers and stuff, I wouldn't even be in this position to be able to go. So, needless to say, as soon as I'm back, we will do a good live show. As soon as I'm back, and then once I'm back, we'll definitely do a live show to get you guys updated on what's going on. Let you guys know what the haps is, like what's going on. And then we'll be back for a certain amount of time before I have to head out again to go do some more projects. But if it wasn't for the patronizers, I wouldn't be able to do this. And it's just a reminder of like, hey, thanks you guys. And I wouldn't be able to be here on the internet beating up an air conditioning unit. You know, Gene Tesk says it's 94 in Olympia right now. Yes, which is not very far from me. I don't know. It was 90 something on the thermometer outside. Once it gets to the 90, I just stop caring. It's just hot. You know, and I get it. There are a lot of places that are hotter out there. Western Washington is a special kind of place when it gets hot. It is kind of unbearable. It's weird. You know, it's just that kind of area. That's just kind of the way that it is. And, you know, I wish that we've gotten the insulation done by this point, but we just haven't done it yet. We've still got a little bit of electrical to do, and then we'll be on it. Susan from SLC Aquatics says, the things that annoy us, yes. Sometimes the AC rattling around behind me annoys me, and then I hit it during the show. It makes a good show, you know. I think it's a pretty integral part to the show here. All right, we've got 100 people watching, so we might as well go to the video portion of the show. Video portion of the show. Video portion of the show. Make sure I click the right button. Where's my preview? I guess the preview doesn't work anymore. All right. I guess the preview does not work anymore, so we just have to assume that this is the right button. Hey, there we go. Now I'm over here and I'm tiny. Yeah, what's up? Who's tiny? But the video didn't start at the right part. There we go. We're going to start it at the beginning. Yeah, man, this is a very professional show. I don't know if you guys know, this is a super professional show here, where everything is just 100% serious all of the time, and just kind of move myself around on the screen here. Where's a good spot? Oh, I'm going to put myself right there. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned, Wednesday is typically the day where I do spend time moving things around. I do take an inventory on what needs to get trimmed, what needs to get moved. I don't know why it's Wednesday, but oftentimes it ends up landing on Wednesday when I have to do it. I don't know if anybody noticed my arm was purling there, looking pretty good. So Wednesday's the day that I normally take the inventory, what's got to get moved around, what needs to get done. And I was basically at the point this week where I had to get something done on the 150. This 150 here is the shrimp tank. Is the shrimp tank that you guys know I've been working on for a long time. The cherry shrimp will be coming out of here at some point in time. I do have to source exactly what shrimp I'm going to put in here. I'm not sure what shrimp are going to end up going in here or where they're going to come from at this point. So I'm not sure who or where I'm going to get them from. I haven't exactly figured out. I haven't exactly figured out where I'm going to be getting those from, where they're going to be coming. Let's see here. We got some people in the chat. Roger said, water can get Wednesday here. What? Oh, I see Randy. I see Randy in the chat. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Joel Gillett says, this show has been brought to you by Super Professionalism. That's right. Super Professionalism. But, so, as I was saying, Wednesday's kind of the day. The 150 has definitely, it's starting to get overgrown in some areas. I'm having to move some things around. Some of the styrogene repens, styrogine, whatever you want to call it, is needing a little bit of trimming and going to need some relocating at some point. Luckily today there wasn't a ton of that. There's just a couple of pieces that I needed to trim and get moved. It looks to me like it's going to be about 2 weeks before I have to move some stuff. In the meantime, you can see me up there. I'm actually pulling out some crypts right now, some little baby crypts that have been shot out by the mother plants underneath that rock that I pulled out earlier. That right there, this root that I'm pulling out right here, that's what the mother plant will send out, and then other crypts will start popping up from the ends of those. So that's what that is. If you're ever noticing, like, hey, what's this weird big bright white root coming off my crypts? That's what that is. That's one of the big forms of propagation that the crypts go through. That's how those the little ones just show up. They send a root underneath the substrate. Very, very sneaky maneuver, and all of a sudden little babies start popping up. You're like, way over here, what happened? But it's also one of the things that I definitely love about crypts. I love how they do that. I love how they just suddenly a baby will appear, like, 20 inches over here, like boop, just come popping out of the substrate. I certainly dig that about them. Definitely a cool plant. There are some rocks in here and whatnot that do need a little bit of polishing, and have to do that the old-fashioned way with a good old toothbrush. Some of the surfaces will have a tendency to grow a little bit of green algae on them, just a kind of general green spot algae, so it's nothing like too aggressive or anything like that. Sierru. There we go. Sierru stone generally will grow some green algae on it and stuff like that. The shrimp do kind of come along and pick at it. Obviously, they're eating at the biofilm and stuff like that. So it's not a bad deal for them altogether. But they definitely won't clean it to the aesthetic point that most people have an expectation. They have an expectation that shrimp are going to go in and clean all of the stuff off for them. But no, you have to do it. You're going to have to do a little bit of that cleaning yourself from time to time. Not a big deal. It's just a little bit of a time consumption kind of thing. But I definitely wanted to get that rock out that was right in there. Mainly because I was going to smash it into bits, which of course I did, and then I'm going to be doing some different things with those little pieces of rock. Later on in the video, you guys will see me just stack them back in there for just kind of a temporary thing. I'm not really going to be doing that part of the project until later, mainly because I'm going to be making a video out of it, and then you guys will be able to watch the super short video, right? And then somebody will tell me about how I need to clean my teeth, right? And somebody will tell me about how I'm a big stupid dummy, and then you just get banned from my channel. I got a lot of that from the short video I uploaded yesterday. A lot of people got banned yesterday. It's kind of funny. And if people think it's censorship, cool, I guess. I've noticed a lot of videos coming up recently that people think that they're being censored because they're not allowed to comment whatever they want on people's YouTube videos. It's cool that you are allowed to feel that way, but my YouTube channel is kind of my space, right? Not MySpace. It's not a MySpace page, but this is... I'm sort of the curator of the community, right? And if you're not somebody who's at least coming to the table, like maybe you got a question, that's totally cool. Maybe you got a concern, that's totally cool with me. Maybe you got just something to say, that's totally cool with me too. But if you're some kind of psycho that tells me that I need to go bleach my teeth because I'm ugly, get out of here. You know? Like... And I'm not going to ask you to get out of here. I'm just going to boot you right out the door. I don't care. You know, like if you're one of those people, like you just got to go. And you can still watch my videos and stuff like that. You're just not allowed anymore to comment on anybody's stuff. And I will say that I do read all of the comments, even if you are just commenting on someone else's comment. So if you are some kind of creep that feels like this is the spot where you're supposed to be at, and like you got to tell somebody about something that is very creepy, I just boot you out the door too. Also, if you can't just be a regular person, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. You know, you do have a right to say whatever you want. You just don't have a right to say whatever you want up in my zone. You know? Like, that's just kind of how it goes. That's just reality. I'm not stopping anybody from uploading their own YouTube videos or anything like that. They can go start their own community. But speaking of questions that I think are legit, I got a couple here. And let's answer these real quick. Simon White. What is up, Simon? I've never seen your name on here before. He's got a question saying, what is the substrate, please? So the substrate that is in this aquarium right here, bear in mind, most of my aquariums have different substrate setups. But the substrate that is in this aquarium right here is actually a mixture of ADA's Amazonia, Fluval Stratum, and Fluorite Black Sand. That is the 3 substrates that are in this aquarium. I've spoken at length many, many times that I believe wholeheartedly that dirtying your aquarium is not a good idea. The Wallstad method personally is not a good idea because of the technology that we have a tendency to include in our aquariums that the Wallstad method sort of sets out that you don't want to be adding a bunch of that technology. The Wallstad method is dependent on its plants to do the filtration. So once we start adding in all this other stuff that I add in here, like the bright lights and the heaters and the filtration and the sump and the CO2 and all the things that are going on, it starts really straying away from the Wallstad method. So I feel like if you are going to do the Wallstad method, stick to what it says in the book and expect the results from that, from what's in that book there. That's definitely something that you can do, and it's definitely something that I feel like would be a great learning experience for people, but I don't think it's a great long-term deal. Foxfire says, people just get rude sometimes for no reason at all. Agreed. Some people do get rude for no reason at all sometimes. And I fully understand that sometimes people have a knee-jerk reaction and they're just, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're having a something, whatever kind of situation going on. But, you know, if you can't think of other people's feelings before typing out a comment and hitting send, then I probably don't want you in my community either. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that you said that. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of angry people out there that post lots of crazy stuff into YouTube because they think it's a free-for-all. Because oftentimes they'll post into like giant channels that'll have like 100,000 comments or something, and no one ever reads them. So they just think it's okay to do whatever. But I would remind people that I read them comments, and if they're ridiculous, you get the boot. You get the door. You just get kicked right out the door. Just imagine that, like, this community is a nightclub, and I'm the bouncer and the owner. You know what I mean? It's like, everybody's welcome to come in if you're having a good time and you're being respectful. But if you gotta go, you gotta go. You know what I mean? And I just feel like slanderous, crazy comments like that are just like the crazy drunk guy in the middle of the night who punches somebody, you know? You might not be a bad person, but you gotta get out of the club. You know what I mean? Maybe you had just too much of a good time. But you know how it is. Bentley Pascal says, I had to do a ton of trims yesterday. I have a small horde of red plants. Uh-oh. What do you got, buddy? If you got something good, let me know. Somebody else was asking, where did it go? He asked again, and I want to make sure I answer this. Oh, scrolling. Jeff Allen. Okay, Jeff Allen says, boot the haters, but he was also asking, do I have CO2 on the 150? Yes, I do run CO2 into a reactor into the sump. So the actual CO2 is dispersed within the water column before it heads back up into the tank, which is why you don't normally see, like, you can actually see kind of in the video a little bit of bubbles floating around. I probably have to calibrate the reactor a little bit, but also because I was agitating all this stuff around, that might very well not be bubbles. That might very well be detritus kind of floating around in there. But it's the only time I really do see like little bubbles of CO2 or anything like that. That just means something is out of whack. Like maybe I got to top off some water. Maybe something is just a little bit off. But yes, I do run CO2 in this aquarium into a reactor, which, as you guys know, is my preferential way to run CO2. And maybe at some point in time, somebody will bring something to me that is super awesome and better than a reactor. Hopefully someday something like that will happen. But in the meantime, I definitely have found over the years that running a reactor is the best way to operate a planted tank long term. Personally. Let's see. Fishaholic, Bald and Dangerous says, I got Tropica Column liquid ferts and Tropica root tabs, 19 quid for both. Ooh, yeah, that's a good English. That's the United Kingdom version. I know oftentimes people give me international questions about fertilizers and stuff like that. It's very difficult for me to really figure out what's available in the UK, what's available in Vietnam. I don't know. It's not really something that lends itself to shipping around all that much, mainly because people figured out how to blow things up with fertilizer a long time ago. So I think that's the biggest issue, is why you can't really ship that stuff around very easily, you know, on the retail end. It takes quite a bit of licensing, and, you know, you need guys with guns or whatever to protect it. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I've never tried to ship that stuff around, but my understanding is it's difficult to get the permitting and make sure that it's properly shipped around. Oh, I guess maybe, well, not fertilizers, but used to get in all the soap chemicals and stuff like that, and that was a big pain. But it very specifically was coming in from stuff. Bentley Pascal says, so since you can't get Easy Green, there's several good liquid ferts which are similar. It's a matter of what will ship to you. I think Green Machine has a fert line, though it might just be ADA. I'm not sure who he's responding to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you guys are answering Bald and Dangerous question. I think the easiest international one to give out the examples for like fertilizers internationally would be like Seachem. Seachem's a good one. I think Tropica has a line that is, from my understanding, quite good. I've never really used the Tropica version, but people I trust recommend the Tropica. Tropica and Seachem would be the two lines that I would look for internationally, but as I said, I don't really have a lot of experience like living. I have zero experience living in Vietnam, for instance, right? So I don't know what's available or what's not available in the areas. Maybe someday somebody will throw out some kind of web page or something of like what ferts you can get in what country, and then people could like quick reference it. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see here. Currently, HD is asking, are those shrimp easier to care for compared to the Blue Dream? I always get the street names mixed up, you guys. So let me look that up real quick. Oh, if you look up Blue Dream, you get a bunch of marijuana. Let's go with Blue Dream Shrimp. There we go. Let's check up... Oh, they're just okay. So I'm going based off of the Shrimp Farms page, which is, in my opinion, a very trustworthy page and a trustworthy group of people. And let's just say they're Neocaridinus heteropoda. So they're ostensibly the exact same shrimp that I have in here. Those just happen to be the blue variety instead of this right here. This is just like a really nice red, often referred to as like Sakura shrimps. That's a street name I've heard from them, like Super Reds, Fire Reds, whatever you want to call them. The street names are very unimportant to me other than just trying to communicate to other people. There's so many street names it becomes super confusing. But the Blue Dreams that you mention are just Neocaridina, so they're actually the same shrimp. Same shrimp. The only slight difficulty that you're going to deal with the blue varietals is that they're a little bit difficult to breed in the fact of like keeping them blue. Keeping them blue is a little bit difficult. You have to selectively breed them and keep them in line, and that's basically the only real difficulty. Feeding them is quite easy. Water parameters are quite easy. It's just stopping them from turning into a different color as the generations go along. That's the only difficult part. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. If I was me, I guess. I was going to say if I was you, I wouldn't worry about it. But I'm me, and I wouldn't worry about it too much. You just basically need to go off of a visual grade to make sure that they are reproducing the line you want to keep going. That's the only real difference between the blue shrimp and the red shrimp. That's all it is. It's just selectively keeping them apart. And if you do have one specific color that you are going for, make sure that you don't have the other colors mixed in. Because, for instance, if you have red and blue, that does not make a purple shrimp, you guys. That's not how that works. If you got red and blue and you mix them together, you end up with brown, with spots, spotty brown, wild-looking ones. Candy Overhaul says, "Holy Pogostemon." Well, that is the Pogostemon right there. Where's my thing here? Boop. Let me see. If you are looking for Pogostemon, is this the right link? This might be the wrong link. If you are looking for Pogostemon, this is exactly where I got it from. That link in the chat right there. And somebody mentioned, they're like, why do you always say go to the Aquarium Co-op? Because their shipping's awesome, the people that work there are awesome, and you get a good product, and it's the same product that I have. So that's why I give the recommendation. You could get Pogostemon anywhere else that sells it. That's fine with me. It's okay. I recommend the Aquarium Co-op because they ship awesome. If you're in the United States, get it. Make it happen. If you're somewhere out there in the international world, I don't know what to tell you. It's very difficult to find a company that's willing to work with me necessarily. Oh, crap. That was pearl weed. Well, that wasn't very good, you guys. Let me hold on a second. Let me find a link. Hey, get out of here. Get out of here, thing. There we go. Oh, here we go. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. This takes a second, you guys. I have to turn it into a different link. Otherwise, it doesn't let me... You guys, it doesn't let me put it out there for you. It won't let me paste it in there. So let me see. I got to go to this thing. Then I go like this. Then I go like that. Then I go like that. Then I got to put it in the thing here. Whoop, copy. And then I got to put it in this thing over here. I told you guys this takes a second. Not a big deal, but it does take a second. Copy, and then coming over this way. Yeah. Cha-chow. There you go. That's the link to the Pogostemon. If that long, crazy plant in there that I just trimmed down Which, by the way, this thing is a delightful plant. Fills in a lot of the upper kind of canopy area. I dig it a lot. Gets these nice legs. Let it grow up about 6 inches and keep trimming it off there. It splits out and turns into more and more and more of a bush from there. So if that specific plant that you're looking for, there's the link. I actually got it legitimately that time. But if you guys want pearlweed too, go ahead and get that also while you're at it. But yeah, I definitely recommend the co-op because those guys are all awesome. Everybody that works there is super cool. Corey's cool. He's a friend of mine. And, you know, if you want to get it somewhere else, you totally can too. Mrs. Sunmaid says, should you run an air stone if you're injecting CO2? Now, here's a bit of a tricky thing to explain. You can run an air stone if you're running CO2. It's really not that big of a deal. A lot of people complain about gas off, all this kind of stuff, but in my opinion, CO2 is super cheap. It really is. You know, I buy it by the big giant tank. I hook it up, I diffuse it in, and it's on a timer, and it's really not all that expensive. It's really one of those things. It's just not that expensive to run CO2. I'm not concerned about gas off. I feel like it's good to run. And when I say I feel like it's good to run, I know it's good to run an air stone in conjunction with CO2 for the reason mainly that you're going to run a high level of oxygen and a high level of CO2. That makes a perfectly healthy environment. If you run a low level of CO2, you can run a low level of oxygen if you like. You need to basically just keep the levels the same as you go up, basically. The science is that you can have a ton of CO2 in there if you have a ton of oxygen. If it's really oxygenated water, you can run a lot of CO2. That's just how it works biologically speaking. It's not, the CO2 is not going to negatively affect anything that's in the tank if you have a high enough level of CO2. Or oxygen, sorry. You get those two mixed up when I'm talking. You can, but the way that I do it is that I run my CO2 from a reactor down in the aquarium, or in the sump of the aquarium. Then it goes up into the aquarium with the CO2 in it. That disperses into the tank. Overflow goes back down into the aquarium. The water gets oxygenated as it goes down into the sump. Then it travels across the sump. Some of it gets picked up into the reactor, gets some CO2. So I got a high level of oxygen, high level of CO2. Those both go up into the tank. The CO2 turns off. So 1 hour before the lights come on, the CO2 turns on. 1 hour before the lights go off, the CO2 turns off. So the CO2 is off over the nighttime. Okay? So it's pretty irrelevant what it's doing over the nighttime, as in the nighttime plants will gas off a bunch of CO2 and stuff like that because they're no longer photosynthesizing. So that's the stuff that you want to keep in mind. Also, with the gas off from the plants and stuff like that overnight, the acidity you'll have, you have a chance to get your pH swinging a little bit if you don't turn off your CO2. So you definitely want to run CO2 on a timer regardless of how you're getting it into the aquarium. That's one thing to definitely bear in mind. Let's see. Tampa Tom is asking, Joel, is it a waste to run CO2 on a tank with a sponge filter? No. I think that I probably answered that question in conjunction with what I was just saying, but you know, personally, I would want to run the sponge filter somewhere else. I just think if you're running CO2 in an aquarium that has a sponge filter in it, it just might be the wrong application of a sponge filter, personally. I just don't think sponge filters look nice in a fully scaped Planet aquarium. That's just how I feel about it. So I'm not saying it's bad or good. I just don't think it looks great, in my opinion. So I definitely run the filtration differently if I am doing a PlanetScape like this 150 right here. One of the biggest parts of doing an Aquascape is the aesthetic side of it, on top of on top of it. What's the word I'm thinking? What happened there? We went off the tracks again because of professionalism. The health of everything in there is the primary function. The second thing is the aesthetic. I feel like those two things, when they go hand in hand, it brings the zen. You know what I'm saying? It brings the feng shui. It brings, like, the project is working. You know what I mean? So I try not to do a sponge filter in a planet display myself. I know a lot of people that do it, but personally, I just think it's an aesthetic thing. But you can. Pumpkin Spice Aquatic says, Joel, you're the best. Okay, well, I would argue with that. I would argue with the statement that I'm the best. I'm clearly not the best. I'm getting better every day. That is my goal, is to just get better than the day before. I want to try to keep getting better and better. I don't think I'm the best. I'm probably 90,000th or something like that. You know, modesty. Out of 7 billion, 90,000th, right? That's modest. No, I'd say 1 billionth, maybe. Which I would feel good about that. If I found out I was the billionth best, I wouldn't be upset with that. That would put me in the 16th percentile, right? What is that? Is that right? Hold on, where's my... Did I lose my phone? No. Hold on. So you guys were criticizing me about smacking the air conditioner back there, but it stopped doing what it was doing. It turns out I fixed it by punching it. Hold on, where's my calculator? That's the calendar. Where's my calculator? Oh, there it is. So if we go... No, that's not right. Me. No. Well, that would put me in the 14th percentile, you guys. If I was the billionth best, that would put me in the 14th percentile. So I don't think that would be too bad. Right? I don't think that would be too bad. I think I would be doing pretty darn good. So... yeah, 90,000. That's way too aggressive. That's way too aggressive of a number. That's like the guy who runs NASA or something. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So, yeah, 1 billionth. That would be kind of my deal. Jennifer MWB says, is there something wrong with just using Seachem Flourish? No, nothing wrong with using Seachem Flourish. You're pretty in the clear. Just always double check what you're doing. Just always double check what you're doing. I don't know why. What happened? Bebop Alula got deleted. Why did your... Let's see. I love them, but so much hard work. Roma 240 do for me. I don't know. I don't know why that message got deleted. I don't know why. What's Gillett doing? Gillett deleted Bebop Alula's comments. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Oh, that's why. Oh, I had to go down the list and find out this nonsense. I had to go down and... Oh, that's why you got banned from the channel. There's a perfect example right there. There's a perfect example of why people they just can't handle themselves. It was basically just a pure sexual comment. And I also have to cut my stupid beard off. And then oh boy, howdy. They would do all of the whatever to me. Like, why would you think that that's an appropriate comment to make? What is that? What is that? I've never even met this person. I'm in a long-term relationship. I have a baby on the way. Vicky's my future wife, and then all of a sudden, like, that's the kind of crap that you would have to throw, like, into the comments on a... What is that? Like, really? I don't... That's like, that reminds me of the Sean Connery from Saturday Night Live, where like... I'll take therapists for 600, Alex. Like, oh, you're a total creep. Cool. Get out of here. Yeah, good times. I didn't realize, because it seemed like the first couple comments were completely normal and I was going to answer, but then, you know, Gillett was on the ball. I don't know why I ever would even doubt Gillett. He's just such a great moderator, along with Candy and Dan and everybody. Steve, who else is here? You guys are great moderators. I just was wondering, I was wondering out loud, like, huh, why did this get deleted? Because it deletes all the other ones out of there too, so. I guess you're right. You know, just kind of creepy, but whatever. Pumpkin Spice Aquatic says, okay, what I meant is I like your show a lot. It really helped to pull me out of my depression. Thanks for making the live streams. Well, there you go. See, that's a good comment right there. That's just a regular comment. Like, that's awesome. I am super happy to have been able to help you get out of whatever issues you may or may not have going on. If it's fish tank related, if it's depression related, you guys know that I'm a sober guy. I do my meditations, I do my sober practices and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to help when I can. There's you know, it's just one of those things. I am more than happy to be able to help. I love it. And that's the kind of reasons why I show up to do the show and stuff like that. Not because a bunch of creepy people every once in a while say creepy stuff to me. That's not why I do the show. But let's see. Sean Hinaidi says, okay, important question. What does peanut butter gourami stand for? Well, peanut butter gourami stands for peanut butter gourami. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows about, that's like a peanut butter gourami, right? I think we know that, right? I think we do. What's that? So Gillett says, might I add, Joel is a middle-aged straight white guy, so whoever thinks they're immune to that stuff, think again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Not immune. Not immune to that stuff. Oh, I got people messaging me during the show who should know better. But Gillett has a great point there. There's just kind of creeps everywhere. That's why I moderate. That's why we have moderators. That's why people get the boot. They just can't handle it. They can't handle it. They can't handle the majesty of my aquariumanizing, right? It's a peanut butter. Because everybody knows that it's peanut butter jelly time, right? Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, right? Is that how that goes? I think I got it. Uh-oh. See, this is a text that I can get down with during the show. Vicky says that the baby is fluttering around and doing little baby stuff, which is awesome. That's a cool mid-show text to get. I'm excited for that. This baby girl is gonna be awesome possum. And I think we already sort of announced the name. And we'll see who likes the name, who doesn't like the name. I think things will pan out over time. But we're thinking that her name is going to be Michael Olivia. We're thinking that's where we're going to go, Michael Olivia. I think. That's kind of where we've settled right now. I'm kind of liking that. I'm definitely liking it. So that's pretty good stuff. Kevin Rosenberg is asking, what do you guys feed your emperor tetras? They find with bug bites, bloodworms, and brine shrimp? I have to say, Kevin, that's pretty much exactly what I would have recommended to feed your emperor tetras. There are a couple other dry foods out there you may or may not want to change, but if that's your feeding schedule, the bloodworms, the brine shrimp, and the bug bites, I would honestly say that your fish are probably super stoked about their diet. That's probably right on hit the nail on the head kind of deal. The other Bob, a.k.a. Bob Kaler, with a $10 super chisel. Super sizzle. Sizzle chat. I'm starting to call them sizzle chats because I'm weird. But I'm going to get to that $10 super chat, Bob, here in just a second, because Danielle Scary popped in with a Australian $5, and I missed it. He says, at work, going to watch the replay. That's a $4 tip jar. Or no, it's for the tip jar with the number 4. That throws me off sometimes. I'm like 100. It shows my age, right? Updates on the 55 coming to Patreon. Have a great day. Awesome. If you don't know what Danielle is talking about, Daniel, it's a guy. If you don't know what he's talking about, if you go to the Patreon, you guys can post up on the community action there. You guys, just as little as $1 a month, you can become a Patreon. So maybe it's worth it to you at $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever. It's just a once-a-month charge on the Patreon. That's the thing that I like about it, is that you get to be a part of the community at just a once-a-month charge. So you could just be like, a bunch of people are at $1 a month. And I feel like, yes, it's a pay barrier to a degree, but the show on YouTube and all this kind of stuff is free. But if you want to kind of be in a position where you're like, dude, I want to kind of move up to the front of the line a little bit and help out and be a part of the community, there's definitely the payback in the fact that you can post up on there. You can post questions up on there and stuff. And on the Friday show, I go through all of the Patreon questions. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm going to be gone next week, but as soon as I get back, so the new schedule kind of thing is like, as soon as I get back, I answer the Patreon questions. That would be like the first live stream right when I get back. Is answering the Patreon questions. So maybe it's something that you guys want to do, but that's what Daniel was talking about. Daniel was talking about there was he's been keeping us appraised of his 55. You know, it's pretty cool because you guys can post pictures up on there, and you could post like a really long format question that oftentimes the live chat doesn't work out very well for that, because you know, it's like, what are your water parameters? What's going on? What medications have you tried? And then you guys are on a delay and all that kind of stuff. So it can be a little bit difficult to operate via the live stream. So it's a great way that people could post out a lot of the stuff, the full experience of the things that they've been doing on there, things that they've been going through or whatnot. Yeah. So I think it's a pretty valuable kind of thing, and also, you know, maybe you want to be part of the community. Ooh, Jennifer's daughter's middle name is Michael. I think it's beautiful. Ah, right on. I'm liking it. So far, I'm liking it. And I still like Victoria, so that's good too, right? At Randy Hightower says, I use a deli cup with a lid and the airline in the middle. Learned it from Lucas. What was he asking? Let's see here. I don't know. I don't see his question. Randy. I don't know. I don't see. Oh, wait. There's Randy. Is there a way to quiet the sound of bubbles from a sponge filter? Yeah, you're going to have to somehow... I'm not a great source for that. I was trying to think of like how I've done it, but I'm pretty sure I just like dialed down the airflow or something like that. Something goofy. It's been a long time since I've personally like interacted with the sponge filters like in my fish room, so I just don't use them anymore. I don't have a big use for them. How to dial them down? Put in a sump, and then they get real quiet. Did that sound rude? Sorry, I didn't mean it to sound rude. Kind of thought about it after I said it and was like, it might be a little bit rude. But I as you guys know, I plumb mine into sumps, and it's much better that way. Okay, so let's get to Bob's Super Chat question. It's a $10 Super Chat question, so we got to get to this. It's gold. It's goldenrod. It says, I got two pongos, I got two pogos from the aquarium coop a few months ago for my 30 breeder Amazon puffer tank.
I've trimmed them several times. Each stem makes a new plant. Love the light green, and the puffers obviously do too. You guys, I was saving this $10 question, and it's just a statement. Well, thank you, Bob. Thanks for the $10 statement, man. I appreciate the super chats. Thanks, guys. And that's super awesome. Thanks, man. But, yeah, I love the pogostemon myself. Just trim it down, and it sprouts new sprouts, and it'll sprout from where you trim it. It's pretty decent plant. I enjoy it a lot, other than it just grows rambunctiously. It grows like crazy in my tank, so it is a little bit of a pain in that way, but not a big deal. Just take them and trade them at a local store or something like that, or trade them with a local fish keeper or whatever. Is this thing working? Yeah. All right. Still working. Oh, the AC. I don't mind the AC, I'm telling you. Let's see here. Weirdos. Weirdos X, what's up? Says, what's the worst unnecessary mistake you have made in the hobby? Mine was not thinking, with air quotes, and adding 60+ cardinal tetras into a tank with 15 blue Acara cichlids. Bangs head into the wall. Yeah, that would be a bit of a showdown. I've done stuff like that. I think we've all done stuff like that, but I've definitely, I think the biggest unnecessary mistake that I was involved in was, and I'll tell a story because this one popped into my head. And by the way, there are many more stories like this. This is just the one that popped into my head. So, back in the day, was this like 6 years ago, something? I don't know, 6-7 years ago, something like that. My roommate and I, we had a bunch of green spot puffers, which are awesome fish, and someday I will have them again. When is that day? I don't know. I don't have it planned out, but someday we'll have them again. But they were like a wolf pack because we raised them all up together, so they were all just in cahoots, and they were very used to each other. And took them to a store that I was helping out at that was mostly a saltwater store because we had brought them up to pretty high salinity, and because they were getting full grown. But that guy was moving away, and, you know, he was like, he didn't want to keep them anymore, and I was like, you know, I don't know if I have like a tank for them. I just didn't have space for them at the time, so we brought them to a local store so they could be sold. Now, the store owner didn't believe me when I was like, look, these puffers are tough. They're rough and stuff and tough. Rough and tough with their afro puffs, you know what I mean? And so he put them into a tank with a lionfish, a big lionfish, big full-grown lionfish, thinking, yeah, they'll be fine in there together. Like, that's not a big deal. He was like, lionfish will probably eat some of the puffers. And I was like, I think you're kind of wrong about that. But lo and behold, about 40 minutes later, no more lionfish. The lionfish was completely eaten and consumed by the pack of green spot puffers. Murdered and consumed. You know what I'm saying? So it was 100% definitely ate all of the lionfish. The lionfish was gone, had been killed, and it felt really unnecessary because there was another tank like right next to it in the rack that didn't have anything in it, and we could have easily just put them in there. Really sad, but as I think the people that watch the show and know the show, I don't like to encourage like the murder or anything like that of a fish, but if there's a short list of fish that really irritate me, snakeheads would be on there, being super invasive, and the exact same thing, the lionfish would be on there, considering how invasive they are. on the eastern seaboard at this point, and they're not even supposed to be on the eastern seaboard. So I wasn't too upset. I wasn't happy about it, but I definitely was. But I wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't upset. I was kind of like, well, yeah, we didn't need another lionfish anyhow. There's millions and millions of them. Tampa Tom says, that's an awesome story. I never would have thought of that, but hey, he hates lionfish. Tampa Tom would know, he's down there in Florida, just how invasive it is. They're just destroying the ecosystem down there in a brutal way. It's sort of just nonstop, you know what I mean? Oh, let's see. We got somebody commenting a whole bunch. Do 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 do. Oh, let's see. Okay, so there's one. All right. I don't mind this. I don't mind this comments, but got a bunch of comments coming in from one person while the live stream's going, which typically means it's somebody going, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell this guy all this stuff," and you know the typical comments are coming where it's like, "This video could have been 5 seconds long." Cool. Go watch something else. Not to bitch about the haters, but I always just think it's funny. I think it's funny more than anything. I don't think the immigration situation is funny, but I think haters are funny. Oh, he's going through every video. Yep, same guy. It's the same person. Just going through every video, dropping wacky comments on them, which is funny. Daryl Dimer just dropped a $20 super chat with no question or anything on it. Just chipping in. Well, thanks, Daryl. I'll help put that in the travel fund and hopefully bring you guys some good videos. I've got some good videos coming out next week, so you guys won't be totally left in the dark. I'll see what I can do with the on the road live streams. I'm going to see if I can do that. If I can get to good spots, where we have like really good Wi-Fi, I might be able to do something. Otherwise, I'm just going to film them. I'm just going to film what would have been a live stream, and then I'll be able to upload it later, because I do know that I'm going to be meeting with, at minimum, 2 people that I think everyone out there will be super excited to see a bit of video from. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to say who it is, but let's just say pretty darn famous, pretty darn cool, and I've already got the pre-approval with them to put them on camera, put a mic on them, and talk to them for a little bit. So I'm pretty stoked. And so for that kind of stuff. But I'll see if I can't do a couple of, like, catch up with you all live streams. I'm going to try and do some Patreon live streams while I'm gone. See if I can get those to work also. But you never know. You hit the road, and sometimes you just don't even have service or anything like that, and you're just like, dude, I want to. But as I mentioned earlier, like the macro lens stuff that I was trying to do, it's just going to have to wait another month. And I'm kind of sad about that, but it's just a reality of life that I just don't have the $750 right now to drop on it. So it's kind of whatevs. I just don't have the money for it, and I don't want to get stuck somewhere and not have money for like food and things, because we're going to be traveling for a week. So I think it's probably just in my best interest to hold off on buying any equipment, even though I am going to be on the road, like taking photography and video of people's tanks and stuff. It feels like the best thing to do just to keep the money in the bank and wait. I think it's just going to be a wait thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not 100%. And I kind of am at the point right now where I'm trying to figure out if the best budget deal So Sigma recently came out with the macro art lens, which is pretty cool. And I'm pretty excited for that because it's a 70 millimeter instead of the 100 millimeter, which works out pretty well because if I put it on my full frame camera, it's 70 millimeter, which is awesome. But then I can put it on my crop sensor, which turns it into a 128 millimeter, I think. Is that right? No. What's the math on that? 70 plus. No, it turns it into 108. Sorry, it turns into a 108 millimeter, I think. Yeah. So that's kind of the cool thing. I was definitely looking at this one because it's a little cheaper. It's like 150 bucks cheaper than the other one I was going to get, but I don't know. It's pretty new, and I haven't seen that many people like run through it yet, but it's the first Sigma art lens that's come out. And oh wait, I don't know if that doesn't work. Hold on. Let me remove that one. That's not the right one. This one. Here we go. That one is the one that I was this is the one that I was looking at, and I was just wondering, like, maybe somebody in the chat has had some experience, because I couldn't find very many reviews of it yet. And I'm just saying, there's 100 people in here. This video will probably get like 1,500 views. Maybe somebody maybe somebody out there that watches this later would be able to click on that, go check it out, and then be like, oh my god, I've got that Sigma, and they could let me know and show me some examples. But that one has this lens has only been out for a month and a half, so I was almost thinking that this would be kind of the lens that I'm looking for, because it's right up my style, right up my alley of like what I kind of shoot with now. Even though it's a Sigma lens and not a Canon lens, but it being like 200 bucks cheaper, I think that's like a pretty darn good deal. But I couldn't find that many reviews of it yet because it's only been out a month. But typically speaking, when a lens has only been out for a month, it either works really, really, really well, or it's a total piece of garbage. Now, I would say that Sigma I totally trust, because all their lenses that I've ever gotten were good. So I've never like had a bad experience with them. They almost always have made really good ones, and so that was never really an issue. So that's definitely the one I was looking at. Now this lens right here, the Sigma, the 105 macro, I've gotten a lot of advice from people that I should just go ahead and get this lens, but a lot of people are telling me to get the Canon one, which is like, it's like 900 bucks after tax and everything. So I'm like, man, I ain't got that kind of money. I just ain't got that kind of money deal. So this Sigma one I was looking at right here, this one's 500, which is more, could be done. $1,000 is not doable. A $500 one is kind of doable, and this one has put out, this one has tons and tons of reviews. But like I said, so Sigma lens to the Sigma art lens, the Sigma art lenses are so much better than even the nice Sigma lenses. Same company, the art lenses are like, here's our nice lenses, right? So, you know. Anyhow, sorry about talking about cameras. I know everybody is like, whatever, not a big deal. PM is asking, would you ever keep Caridina? As you guys know, I am a shrimp keeper at heart. That is my thing. That is the thing that I've been doing for, that was the thing I was doing for well over a decade, because when I got back, back into the hobby was like 2006, I think. So that's like 12 years ago. Shrimp are what got me back into it. Freshwater shrimp are what got me back into it. I started out with cherry shrimp. I've had many different types of Caridinus. Once I kind of felt like I kind of was like, I basically spent 15 minutes with cherry shrimp, and then I was like, oh my god, I've got to get crystal shrimp. I've got to get King Kong shrimp. I've got to get these crazy, crazy shrimp. Back then, it was always like a fable on the wind of like where you were going to get them from. And shrimp are my main thing as far as like critters that I keep. Shrimp are one that I focus on. Betta fish are one that I focus on. Even though people always yell at me and they say, it's not beta, it's betta. And I'm like, I don't care. You know, all the varietals of betta fish, which I probably will be getting some more wild bettas at some point in time. I am currently gearing up to do a bunch of work in the fish room. I'm very excited. I've got a new tank coming out for you guys. That is going to be dope. Hopefully I get to preview it to you guys before this trip. We shall see if I can preview it to you guys or not. And but yes, Caridina shrimp they're essentially my favorite thing to do. If I could just convert all of my tanks to be high-end shrimp tanks, that's what I would do. If I could figure out a shrimp person that could actually show up and supply some shrimp, then I would do that right away. I was basically lined up to do that months and months and months ago. And, you know, people are just too busy. People are too busy to be bothered. So, whatever. I just move on. I'm not in the position to wait for other people to not show up. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. It probably sounds a little bit weird, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to wait around and hope that somebody else, like, wants to do work or something. You know what I mean? So, but we got some really cool stuff going on, and I'm excited for it, and I'm just going to keep plugging away. So, but yes, there will be some cool shrimp at some point in time. My guess at this point would probably be crystal shrimp. One of the things that I was pretty excited for is a possibility of getting some shrimp while down at Super Zoo, but I don't know if that's going to work out or not. There's somebody that I spoke to that we shall see. I don't want to say. I don't want to say anything until after this trip because I'm going to go talk to him in person, and we shall see what comes of it, if something cool comes of it or not. But man, you guys, it is completely summertime, isn't it? There's only 90 people watching today, so I've definitely been noticing that it is for sure summertime. Those of you out there that are catching up on this later, I hope you guys are having an awesome time out there in the sunshine, doing all the fun stuff. I have noticed from the analytics that the people kind of show up when it gets dark out. So understandably, people are out there. They've got their fishing line in the water and toes in the water or whatever they're doing. I fully understand it. I'd be out there doing that every single day if I could, and I'm sure you guys would be too. Rogue Aquarium says, I have shrimp as well with salt water. Ooh. Digging that. I always dig the saltwater shrimps. They're definitely awesome. Samantha says, betta fish are my favorite. Yeah, I'm going to definitely be doing some more betta breeding projects in the, I would say 6 to 9 months from now. I would say it's kind of after baby time. Mainly because I sort of am planning right now to be working on more breeding projects once the baby comes. Because I know that I'll be spending more time at home with the baby, right? So I'm looking forward to doing more breeding projects while that's going on because I'm just gonna set her up with a dope crib action. I don't know. Vicky might be watching right now, and she might not think this is cool, but I'm going to set her up with a cool spot out in the fish room so that I can work on, like, breeding projects and stuff like that while I'm here. And then as we kind of get more into the swing of having a kid and stuff like that, then I'll start working on doing more road projects and stuff like that. But I don't plan on doing a bunch of crazy stuff like, you know, hitting the road or anything like that after like November, like well, once the baby's due like November 15th or something like that. So somewhere around there, November, December, January, I'm just not planning on doing too much of the road. February also. March, then like probably somewhere around April or whatever, we'll probably start scheduling trips and stuff. But also, I don't know how the schedule's necessarily going to work out. You know, if Fluval's no longer tripping and they want to do some projects and they kick out a few bucks to do some projects or something like that, then maybe I could afford somebody to be here to help Vicky while I hit the road or whatever if I have to do that. I also don't know what's going to happen as far... My mother was threatening to bring her trailer to the property here so that she could live on site and help take care of the babies. So my mom might be here. Grandma might be here all the time. I don't know. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what shakes out. I've got things kind of penciled down. Nothing in nothing in ink or anything like that. And we're definitely gonna sort those things out as time comes along. Let's go back to scene 1 here because I feel like people got to see the video quite a bit. I've just been basically just kind of answering people's questions after I rambled on about what I was doing, which cut and trimmed the Alternanthera renekii, moved some Anubias around, broke some rocks, moved some stuff, trimmed some Pocostemon, trimmed some Stargene repens. It doesn't feel like I did a lot. But now that I say it out loud, it seems like I did a whole bunch of stuff to the tank. But I think the Scape is definitely coming along. I would give it for sure. For sure, right now, I would give it about an 80 out of 100, maybe an 8 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10 is better because then I can go 8.2 once it gets moving along. But at some point in time, hopefully, we'll hit the 10 out of 10. And I'll give it a gold star, and then I'll light it on fire or something. It'll be like, 10 out of 10, time to rescape for the teardown, right? Because none of us are content. None of us are content with imaginary perfection, right? We're all sane, thinking, crazy people, right? But let's see what's going on here in the chat, and we'll catch up with what you guys are talking about. Jennifer MWB says, my kids are out of school over summer, so my daytimes are usually a madhouse. Today is a lucky day where I have the time to be on YouTube in the daylight hours. Oh, that's cool. It's good to have the kids home for summertime for sure, but it's probably a little bit of a fiasco, I'd imagine. Mortal Slayer 82 says, if I had tubs, I'd be outside doing fish room work while watching. Oh, sounds good to me. Speaking of tubs and things like that, we start breaking ground tomorrow on Corey's pond, which means my pond will take a little bit of a back burner, but not a bad deal. Not a bad deal altogether, you guys. Not a bad deal altogether, you guys. We're going to be breaking ground on that pond. I'm pretty excited about the project. I think it'll definitely make some really cool videos, especially because I bet you Jimmy will be filming a lot of it and editing a lot of it, which is great, which is going to be super cool. And I'm excited for that pond to just do the project. Sounds like super fun to me. I'm going to go up there, help them out, kick some stuff around, and just have a good time with those dudes, with the bros. And hopefully get you guys some video on some ponds that you guys can get some. Maybe it'll get you some inspiration. Maybe you'll just be like, you guys are idiots. Rogue Aquariums is here asking, how's the reef tank? The reef tank's doing great. It's going to be moving into a new aquarium fairly soon. That's the new aquarium that's coming in. The new aquarium that's coming into the fish room will be the new reef. Which means my 180 gallon reef tank, well, it's not necessarily a reef tank, it's a 3/4 inch acrylic 180 gallon aquarium with a center overflow. It's a pretty nice aquarium. That thing will be up for sale pretty soon. As soon as the new one gets done, it is being built as we speak. So that new tank will be going in. Like I said, I hope to get you guys a preview of it by Friday, but you never know if that'll work out or not. Ooh, Gone Mad is here with the brand new cell phone. Digging that. Rogue's doing a 600-gallon build this year. Awesome. That's always good times. Let's see. Fishaholic can't stay up all night. Have a good night. Dan Squires says he'll buy it. No, I won't ship that thing. I won't ship that thing overseas, my guy. That'll be locally sold. So if you're in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, whatever, and you can work out like coming to grab it or whatever, I'll definitely let you guys know when it's sold or when it's for sale, and you guys can check it out if you like. Barbara Jackson's here asking, hey, Joel, are 15 Panda Cories too much for a 20-gallon long? 3 sponge filters in there. 15 pandas in a 20-gallon is... No, that's fine. That would... And knowing your skill level, Barbara, I would not be concerned about it. I think you would be fine with 15 in there. And 15 is a good number for the Panda Cories. You want to have enough of a school for them to all be able to hang out and stuff, or they start getting weird if you only have like 4 or something. So 15 is a good number. Jad Orsi says she's here, just cooking dinner for the dogs and the humans, which I got to get on that fairly quickly. You know, I got to get on that quick because got to get some food ready for my my pregnant lady. You know, I don't want to get karate chopped. You know, I don't want to get karate kicked or karate chopped. You know what I mean? Let's see here. What's this thing doing? There. Okay. We got a $5 super chat from Rogue Aquariums. Well, thanks, my man. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see here. Try to catch up with the chat. Does anybody really have any questions? Kind of winding down, getting down here to the, I guess it's the end of the show. I think it's only an hour and a half long, but I don't really have too much. Kind of ran out of things to talk about, really. I mean, there's weird stuff I could talk about, but it would just irritate people. If I talked about politics and stuff, people would freak out, I guess, or something. Ed's Fish cooked a cheap pizza today. Yeah, tonight was going to be the easy pizza night, but apparently our house sitter ate the wrong pizza. So the frozen pizza that we have cannot be eaten by Victoria because of allergy reasons. So I don't think our house sitter knew. I think she just knew that there was a pizza that could have been eaten, but they ate the wrong one. And so they can't eat the other one. Let's see here. Jennifer says, don't mess with the pregnant woman's food. My husband ate a sandwich I was saving for... and 4 years later, I still get mild rage about it. Hey, you know, the first step is admitting that you have sandwich rage. Right? If you have sandwich rage, that's the first step on being able to admit it. Rory is asking, Joel, did the guppy of yours pop yet? No, I'm pretty sure she absorbed the babies. I'm pretty sure. Oh my God, someone posted a sump for sale. Oh, it's already been removed. Somebody probably bought it already. So much for alerts about sumps for sale. Uh-oh, somebody mad. Sorry, I just read something that's sad but true but funny. Yeah, I would not mess with Vicky's food, you know what I mean? Like, she'd probably karate chop me to death or something. Not that I'm in danger or anything like that. She's pregnant, and she might be mad. But Rory, yes, I think, you know, I think the female just absorbed the babies that the guppy female. I think she just reabsorbed them. I've had that happen before, like isolated guppies, so it's not like super shocking or anything like that. But I would. What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for here? The word I'm looking for is. I'm probably just going to add a bunch of guppies at some point. You know, that will be probably the deal for one of I probably at some point in time will do, what's the word? A good guppy breeding tank. Those are kind of some of my favorite tanks, and I definitely was up looking at Murphy's tank yesterday. I went for a fan meetup at the Aquarium Co-op. Met an awesome guy up at the Aquarium Co-op. It was really cool. I had a good chat, and I was up there and was looking at Murphy's tank, who has a ton of guppies in there, and I was like, I have got to do a guppy tank again sometime soon. So I'm just having to figure out like exactly how I'm going to go about it or what tank I'm going to do. You know, and I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out. But at some point in time, I will. It's not an option of like, it's not so much will I do it, it's when will I do it. And it's just like when or where, you know, where exactly that tank's going to be. Randy Hightower says, what's the plan for the portable light box? I haven't known you to do too many small item photo shoots. The light box I do is some of the macro photography stuff I've been working on with the current lenses that I have now, which is one of the issues that I've been kind of running into is that, and we talked about this earlier, that like I was looking to get some specific macro lenses to kind of up my game a little bit, to kind of help out, like move forward with some of the projects that I want to do. But the actual light box and mini tanks and stuff make it way easier to do all that photography. It's just it's a much more enclosed, controlled space to be able to get shots of things like a killifish or a shrimp or something specific. The only slight issue with that is that you have to get them out and put them into that little holding tank in the meantime. But it's not the most difficult thing in the world to net stuff out. It's not very easy either in a planted aquarium because there's just a bunch of stuff in the way of the net. So, you know, but that's what that little project is for, is being able to take some extra high def. Take some extra high def pics and stuff like that. Walid Tunie. Finally got myself an Asian arowana yesterday. So stoked. Hasn't begun to eat yet, though. Hopefully only take a couple of days. She was healthy at the store. Transitional arowanas, I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not saying live foods, but you do want to get some high quality foods and see if they will actually eat that. You know, the frozen foods. There we go. Frozen foods would be kind of the best bet with having moved an arowana. They get pretty traumatized from getting moved. It just is, it's for them specifically, it's a pretty traumatic event. You know, like if you move guppies, like they're like, what? Yeah, I don't know. We were like in a bag for a minute. They completely forget it. You know what I mean? They're pulling the squirrel thing, like, oh, you guys like food? I like fruit. Squirrel. You know, like guppies don't mind. There's a lot of fish that don't mind being moved. It's not really that big of a deal. But in my experience, arowanas were always like super stressed out from having moved them. Dan Squire says chop up some scallops. That's a good idea. Salad shrimps, something like that. Frozen shrimps, thaw them out, drop them in there. Just get some food in them. It's definitely going to help out with the transition and stuff. But whenever we would like get an orphan one or anything in, they were always like super traumatized from the move. So if you can get them to eat something, that is awesome, and it will definitely help with the transition. All right, guys, we're getting to the end of the show here. I think I'm going to wrap it up. We don't have any super chats hanging or anything like that, and I'm sort of getting to the point where I'm kind of just rambling around in circles. But I want to say thanks to the super chatters today: Danielle, Scary, Mr. Sunmaid. There we go. It's Mr. Sunmaid. Not Mrs. Unmade. Okay, Mr. Sunmaid. Got it. The other Bob, a.k.a. Bob Kaler, Daryl Dimer with the biggest super chat of the day, and Rogue Aquariums. Thank you very much for your contributions today. Thank you very much to all of the patronizers out there, and thank you very much to you guys, everybody hanging out in the chat, everybody sharing it out. Did everybody hit the like button? Did you guys hit the like button? We're supposed to remind people to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications buttons. If you don't hit the notifications buttons, how are you going to know if you got a notification in the mail? Oh, you know, that kind of stuff, right? Or how does it go? You got to smash the like button. You got to smush the subscribe button. You got to lightly caress with your fingernails. Right? Isn't that how all that kind of stuff goes? You got to smash it, smush it, kick it, karate chop it, all that. I guess, I don't know. Everybody's trying to get their own catchphrase for stuffs in regards to the buttons. But we're supposed to hit the like button. That helps send it out. The big thing that I always ask, hey, you guys like this show? You guys like sitting down here? You like the long format, engaging back and forth conversation that we have? And, like, here's a perfect example right here. Waled is how you say his name. Waled. There we go. You give me the pronunciation, guys. I'll always try to read it. Jagator1 is asking about one last question. You better get it in quick. Otherwise, there's no time for it. The show doesn't end really until I start shouting later, you know, realistically. I have to do the thing where I'm like, did you guys hit the like button? Did you hit the subscribe button? How am I going to afford a haircut if you didn't hit the subscribe button? Oh, my God. Right? My hair's getting shaggy, you guys. I got to get it cut because I'm about to go on the road. And my hair getting shaggy, kid. My hair's getting shaggy, kid. But I definitely would like to say real quickly, we are approaching 15,000 subscribers, you guys. It only took me 10 and a half years. It only took us 10 and a half years to get here, which isn't that bad. It's not that bad, you guys. It's not the worst thing ever. But it took us 10 and a half years to get here. We're about 500 people away from 15,000. What's the goal? 200 million. That's the goal. 3.5 times the amount of subscribers that PewDiePie has. That's the goal. Jagator1's big question was, do I need CO2 with my Planet Aquarium that has Java Fern, Amazon Sword, and Anubias? You don't necessarily need it for those plants, but CO2 is always appreciated by any plant. Does not really matter what the plant is. They will appreciate it. With those plants, you can just run pretty minimal CO2 will help them out. You don't have to go all super crazy and be blasting it in there all nutty. But just a little bit of CO2 is always appreciated. Helps with the photosynthetic process and helps them to bind up. And if you can encourage a slow grower like Java Fern and Anubias, always going to be helpful to encourage the slow growers. The Amazon Sword will grow full and robust with some CO2 in there. So the Amazon Swords will grow really big, so keep that in mind. And that's always a good thing, because why not? It's the worst that could happen. You grow a giant Amazon Sword, and then it's super awesome. And people are like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing ever, right? So hopefully that answers your question. If not, you could always become a patronizer, throw it up on the Patreon. You could always hit the subscribe button and hit the like button and the blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be talking to y'all later. Has anybody seen that button? CJ Black. If I ever catch you hiding this button.